Right. Yes. If I can find where it is, here it is. Marcia Brown. Carrie Clark.
Here.
Bridget Jameson.
Here.
Kirsten Gowdy.
Here.
Carly Prescott. Sarah O'Brien Hart.
Here.
Crystal D. St. Croix.
Here.
Maggie Larson. Patrick Knieve.
Here.
Did I get everybody?
Thank you all for being here. First order of business tonight and why I am opening the meeting is to elect a board chair for the 2026-2028 school board term. Once elected, the school board chair will take over chairing the meeting, which will include electing a vice chair and maybe a secretary. I just want to run through mechanics of process because I have not done this in Somersworth before, just to make sure all the school board members, rather simple and straightforward, but to make sure it remains that way. For school board chair, I will call for nominations. Anybody on the school board can make a nomination. Nominations, and correct me if I'm out of order on any process that we've done in the past here. It's a matter of Robert's Rules of Order, and the policy is not crystal clear, but I just want to make sure we're good on this. Nominations do not need to be seconded, nor do they need to be accepted, although it would be helpful for anyone nominated to acknowledge that they are willing to serve or to speak up and offer that they would rather not. Once we have our set of nominations for school board chair, we will vote. And to be elected school board chair, we need a majority. We have 8 members voting. If anybody abstains, we'll have 7, but we basically need a majority of those that are voting. There's no discussion or deliberation, but if folks wish to comment regarding nominations or just to make sure we're all set. And we will do this until we have a school board chair elected, and then they will take over the meeting and proceed from there. Have I got that good and consistent with past practice? All good? Makes sense? So I will open the floor to any nominations, and I believe self-nominations are accepted as well. They're not explicitly ruled out. I just want to make sure I covered everything. Yeah. Any nominations for school board chair?
I nominate Maggie Larson.
A nomination for Maggie Larson. Maggie, would you speak up if you're not prepared to accept that nomination? Okay. Any other nominations for school board chair? All good? Can we go ahead and have a vote? We'll simply do a voice vote. All those in favor of Maggie Larson as school board chair, please state in the affirmative, aye. Aye. Any opposed to Maggie as school board chair, please say nay. Any abstentions? I think it's unanimous. Congratulations, Maggie, again. So Maggie will take the meeting from here, and we will move forward. Thank you all.
Thank you, Superintendent Shea. Hardest part's over. That's it. So now with our organizational meeting, it would be for vice chair. Secretary is an interesting one. It's slightly antiquated. I'm not sure if we need that. So I'm going to ask for nominations, thank you, for vice chair, again, to enact the duties. Yes, welcome up. Sorry, we had to kind of move musical chairs a little bit. When the vice chair isn't available and to assist the chair. So any nominations for vice chair? Do the same kind of thing, just to say the name. Anyone can say it, and then we vote on it per nomination.
I'll nominate Carrie Clark.
Okay. Any other nominations? All right. And then all in favor say aye. 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 All opposed or abstained? Say nay or say I abstain. Thank you. Welcome, Carrie. We'll get your little vice chair. For secretary, is there anyone really wanting to be secretary? In all the years, there hasn't been too much to do. Well, it's to be like the correspondent and take notes on behalf of the board when advised to do so. I would think it would be more of like a legislative position, but we can kind of work on that. Again, yeah, you gotta take all the minutes and no. It has been, board member D. St. Croix. Do you want to speak to, I mean, it really is an older kind of fashion. You could be the delegate assembly for the New Hampshire School Board Association, but that's separate. Usually they're connected to.
That was the only really thing sorry. That's really the only other thing I did, because Katie takes all the minutes, so there's not a lot to do for it.
Right. If anyone wants to elect a secretary, if not, we really don't, we're not required to have one. And I'm not in a favor of having something that we don't really need, unless you want the title for some reason. Okay. All right, with that, let's just open this up to public comments, citizens forum. If there's any comments, or please come up to the podium and state your name and where you live. I think that this meeting and our next one will kind of go over, and I'll summarize what that all is. We are under a constraint to allow it for up to 20 minutes or so, and 3 minutes per person per our policy, and kind of state regulations about allowing folks to speak. I don't think we've ever had a problem, but I just want to make sure everyone's free speech is in order. You can say whatever you wish as long as it's not threatening, but you can say whatever. So I don't think anyone's coming up, but you'll have another opportunity at the end of the meeting. Our consent calendar. Yes. Yep.
I'll walk this around. When I sent out the agenda on Friday, there was a little note in there that 3.4 wasn't ready to go. I was clearing up the nomination of paraeducator Eileen Gomez with our Assistant Superintendent Kat Crosby. So I'm going to hand to you now the consent calendar item, which is 3 simple nominations. Underneath that line is reference to my daughter coming on as ESOL instructional aide. That's not a matter of voting, but it may be a matter of discussion this evening. If you wish to keep this on the consent calendar, having looked at it, great. But of course, it'll be up to the chair to look if you want to pull it off the consent calendar because you're getting it late. 1, 2, 3, 4 that way.
Yep.
1 for you, Maggie.
Yep.
And 1, 2, 3, 4 this way.
Let's see. Let's give the time for folks to look at this, and we can add it to, can we add it to unfinished business, or do you think it's new? It's probably all new to us, right?
You could also just pull out the ESOL position as a topic and move forward with the nominations, which is the only voting part of this consent calendar item.
Yeah.
But
The
that's up to
only
you.
part is that it just hasn't been seen, and we're just seeing it. So I want to make sure that we have it in the minutes in new business, just to say it for what it is, just because it wasn't in the agenda packet. So I'd make the suggestion to pull the nominations and COE as certification of employment. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Certificate of eligibility.
Oh, certificate of eligibility, sorry. To new business under 9.3, just so we can say it there, say who it is, and vote on it under new business, just because we haven't had it until now, and we'll give it a little bit of time to look at it. Because I'm going to look for a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented in what we had. Do you have a question?
I think that we need a point of clarity.
Sure.
I'm wondering why we need a discussion item for an instructional aide because it's not a professional position.
Oh, just because we just received it and if to adopt the consent calendar as presented, it wasn't in our packet until today. So it wasn't.
It wasn't presented. So we would have to.
Say who it is and vote on it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, just so we can like line item it out. Wait, professional staff? Yep. All right, so with the removal of 3.4, the nominations, do I have a motion to move it to agenda item 9.3 for approval? The nominations and the COE?
I motion to move the nominations to agenda item 9.3 for approval.
Yeah, great. Second?
Second.
All right, any discussion?
Is it a statement of eligibility or a certificate of eligibility?
I don't know.
Certificate.
Okay. All right, cool.
Our
How is that different than
superintendent-
a SOE?
Our assistant superintendent will kind of explain when we get there
Okay.
why it's a necessity that you understand the
Yeah.
terms of which they're coming in the regulation.
10-4.
And for the consent calendar, we usually don't discuss any of the items unless we want to pull them off to discuss, because this is just like for,
just a quick- yeah.
yeah, if we remove for consideration to act upon, we can do that. But right now, with the removal of 3.4, what's the wish of the board to approve the consent calendar as presented?
Motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
Okay, do I have a second?
I
Second.
second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. All
Aye.
opposed, say nay or no. All right, great. So we'll just put that down there. And then our reports, no student representative report, city council update. Welcome, Councilor Austin.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm glad to be back. A lot of new faces on this board since the last time I was here, and that's a good thing. I think that we have an opportunity to continue to build on our relationship between the school board and the city council. Last night, the mayor appointed me to represent the city council here, as well as to chair the joint commission, so we will be putting together a meeting for that. Madam Chair, you need to appoint 2 people from the school board to sit on that committee. So if you could just let me know who those would be, that would be great.
Yes, it's under our committee assignments, and it's the chair and the vice chair. If we can just update it to Larson and Clark, that would be great. So we already have that on there as a default.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
That's it for
Thank you.
tonight.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Appreciate it. All right. Our business administrators report.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
The budget update's in your packet. Since the last update, we did make the payment, the second payment to school cares, chipping away at that assessment of the $76,000 that the board approved at the last meeting based on the payment plan that we approved. As of this report, I had 5 paraprofessionals still open, but meeting earlier today with Amy, it sounds like we're almost full at each of the buildings except for the high school. They had another resignation, so they have currently 3 open positions. So we will be probably looking to fill one of those with a ProCare contracted para because of the need. We were doing okay with 2 open positions there, but now with 3, it's really going to be hard. So they're going to be looking at filling that with a contracted service. We're continuing to review the budget, updating figures to try to see what we're going to have for savings towards the end of the year to chip away at school care. So I was able to release some McKinney-Vento homeless transportation purchase orders. So right now we're projecting a savings of approximately $78,000. Again, things can change, as I just said. The contracted para will eat some of that because they tend to be higher cost than the in-house paraprofessionals that we have on staff. So we'll monitor all the time and release when we can, and but we're in the right direction at this point. In terms of revenue, we received our reimbursement for CTC tuition and transportation. This is based on students from last year. It's reimbursed in this fiscal year. We did receive additional $19,221, so that's good news. And then it's not reflected in the revenue because I just received it at the end of last week, but we did receive our special education aid, and we did get $12,000 more than we were anticipating, so that's good news as well. Obviously, we still don't get the full amount that we should be reimbursed, but we did get $12,000 more.
Katie, do you have the full number there just for like?
I don't have it in
That's
front of
okay,
me, but
that's
I'll
okay.
report it in my next
Okay,
update because we didn't actually receive it until after this report. So
Right, and we
we
received,
were supposed to get a little over 998,000, so it's about 12,000 more than that.
and that was more than we had understood to budget for.
Correct.
last year
Yeah,
by-
but we already adjusted the budget to up to the 998, so this 12 will be additional
Great,
revenue.
yeah, thank
Yep.
you, yep, thank you.
And that's all I have for tonight.
Oh, okay. All right, moving on to our superintendent's report. Thank you.
I want to reiterate, I'm going to talk about next year's budget briefly, but I want to reiterate a couple of key points and add one too, just on the current budget that we're in.
Put your mic on.
Oh, sorry. Thank you, Crystal. I just want to reiterate a couple things that Katie offered that are very important and add one thought to the current budget year that we're in. Katie articulated that we're close to $80,000 on the good side right now. We would be about $300,000 on the good side if it weren't for school care assessment payments that we've already made. And I just want to remind everybody that we still owe close to $450,000. And the expectation or hope is that that will be paid if we have any end-of-year dollars available in June. The council has a resolution that they made in the fall that they will consider helping us at the tail end of this year as well. And anything that we and or the council don't cover at the end of this year will be a bite out of next year's budget right from the get-go. It is extraordinarily unlikely that we will have a balance left at the end of this year to cover that. So we're going to lose all of our balance. We've spent that on critical things every year for the last several years. And so all of our dollars will go towards that. We'll meet with the city council to see if the city council is able to help. And then we'll also look at putting funds into next school year's right at the start, which means we need to budget for it now, which is complicated. But we're working with the city finance director and the city manager on that one, and we'll discuss it at our next budget and revenue committee. I just wanted to reiterate those key points about the current budget year. For the 2026-27 budget year coming up, that the school board workshop will be focused on in a couple of weeks, and that we will intend to approve and send to city council before February break. I think February 16th is that meeting. So for the public, I think if I have the dates right, it's February 3rd and February 16th that are the key dates, a Tuesday and a Monday in February. If you want to come out, ask questions, pay attention, or speak up at those points before it goes to city council. Last year, the tax cap meeting school budget was about $1 million in rough terms under what we needed to do level programming and level staffing. We were fortunate that the city council worked with us to kind of figure out how to keep the city in the tax cap, but also find additional resources for the school department. So that $1 million shortfall was cut in half, but we did need to make some cuts. This year, we only have a preliminary tax cap number from the city finance manager. We expect to have it in writing and firm any day now. But based on the preliminary estimate, we expect that $1 million shortfall to do level program and staffing may be $1.5 million going into the coming year. That is preliminary and rough, but just to make sure that the school board is aware where we potentially stand, and the public that wants to be paying attention to all these things, we're somewhere in that ballpark as of right now. So we're going to have to figure out how to make that one work.
John, just a perspective, 1.5 compared to last year.
We were looking at about $1 million. And again, I want to be stressed with the public. The budget went up both years, and it'll go up next year, but you need a certain amount just to get the level program and staffing. So we're about $1 million short last year on what we needed to do level program and staffing. The city council helped us meet about half of that, so the cuts were only about half as deep as they needed to be. This year, we expect things to be a bit worse. But we will see in the next few weeks where things fall. But that's just an early preliminary rough heads up of where we are. I've shared with the Budget and Revenue Committee, and I don't recall if I shared with the whole school board, but I did share with the entire city council that we are also going through an exercise of doing our best determination of what we believe it actually costs to run this district as it's currently structured, the model of education as we know it, proper funding, competitive salaries, not at the very high end, but more competitive, just as a point of reference, because we think the school board, the community, and the city council probably ought to know what that number is. And maybe if we reach the decision that we're never going to have that money in Somersworth, it might be part of the process of thinking differently about how we organize our schools and how we do all of this. It's not a proposed or an ask, but just a point of information. Katie and I, Kat, and others will be happy to kind of explain where those numbers came from, just as an estimate if folks are interested. But again, we expect it to be a difficult year. Good news is, Councilor Austin didn't mention it, but at the both collective bargaining agreements were approved unanimously by the city council last night, a one-year agreement for the teachers and a one-year agreement for our custodian and facilities crew. So we will have actually all three collective bargaining agreements up for negotiation at the same time, coming on the heels of a Hilltopper promise, 4 key performance measures, strategic plans, strategic priorities. Let's get everything in line, and if there's ways we can rethink some elements of the collective bargaining agreement, take care of our teachers, our paraeducators, our staff, and also create some flexibility to kind of boldly think about where this district is headed, that might be helpful. Kat's going to take the second item, audio, video, photography releases. If you're a parent in the district, you're already aware there's something going on, and Kat's going to fill us in.
Great, thank you. So on December 15th, the technical advisory was issued just to give districts some guidance about the requirements for written parent or guardian consent around audio and video recording. We were in really good shape to begin with. Our consent form covered all of the video, but we didn't have audio mentioned in that. So we edited that to add that piece, and we wanted to make sure that it got out to all parents. So those were distributed by all schools, home to all families in paper form. So we make sure they get home. And schools are currently collecting those back and then plan to follow up with families they don't receive them back from. It's just important that parents know that we need that permission. And so that includes things like the plays that happen and concerts and sporting events and all of those things. We now need that consent. So building principals are working diligently to get those back so that we have all that. And that form will then be updated on Power School moving into next year.
I'll add to that just context too, that this was part of the bill passed in the summer, but the technical advisory from the Department of Education did not come out until December. So this is a statewide matter, and schools are taking all manner of approach to just even going completely dark. Nobody films anything anywhere, and there's even curricular audio. So the implications of this, when we see how many families have not returned the form, are significant. Graduation is filmed and there's audio, so if we have a student that has not got parent permission to be filmed, it's a bit of a mess, as has been the case with much of what's come at us from the state in terms of just forethought and manner of rollout. Third up, proposed revised calendar of school board presentations through June. I will send this out either through the chair or to all the school board members, but I just want to walk you through quickly the presentations that we do at the school board. We did not do athletics, arts, and extracurriculars on December 9th, and we are not doing pre-K program as originally drafted tonight. So we're going to keep what we have for the remainder of the, at least as tentative plan for the remainder of this school year in place. But instead of just having special education on March 10th, we will have special education and the pre-K presentation, and you'll get all this from me. And on March 31st, instead of just, we will not just have the Maplewood presentation, but it'll be Maplewood presentation and the arts. And the April 21st CTC program presentation that was already scheduled will also include athletics and extracurriculars. You'll get that, but I just wanted to make folks aware how we were making those shifts. And I also want to stress, although obviously being at every single school board meeting is a really good idea, March 10th is our date for when we will put forth a mock-up of sorts with real data of the 4 key performance measures, including our second round of iReady test data on reading, writing, and mathematics, how we're doing on attendance, how we're doing on reading, writing, and mathematics, iReady, past forms, how we're doing on culture and climate with the measures that are already in place and the data that's already in place. Surveys roll out in the spring, so that'll be a big part of everything moving forward, and matriculation, graduation data. Stephanie Lafreniere is got the task with Sal Linez to kind of figure out what the data systems should be in place so that we kind of generate this dashboard on a regular in a regular way, weekly, daily. So school board members, the public, others can see at any given time how we're doing on office referrals, out-of-school suspensions, attendance at different schools. Obviously, the assessment data on reading, writing, and mathematics is not going to be updated daily, but you'll see where we are based on the last benchmark. And there's some things that are going to be hard to look at, but not unlike a lot of districts all around the state and around the Northeast and the country. But we want to be frank and clear about where we are and how we intend to improve. That's the calendar. Idlehurst Elementary School principal search. For those in the audience or watching at home, Idlehurst Elementary School parents are invited this Thursday, 5 p.m., Idlehurst Library, to meet with, ask questions with, and learn about the 2 candidates that we are putting forth, and I'll tell you a little bit more about both in one second. We're asking school board members that can make it between 3:45 and 4:45 to have an opportunity to sit with both candidates for a half hour each. If you can't make it then, but want to jump in on one of the parent meetings or both of the parent meetings, you're welcome to do that. That would be terrific. But again, that's this Thursday. We had 7 applications. We're a really thoughtful search committee. We're putting forth these 2 applicants as our top candidates. And I'll just For the record, and those that haven't seen this yet, Kate Gove is one of the two. She is currently the assistant principal at Idlehurst. She has 25 years of experience in the field of education. She served 14 years at Portsmouth Christian Academy in Dover as a junior high teacher and as an assistant principal of the lower school for 4 years. She came to the Somersworth School District in 2016 as an elementary school counselor before moving to her current position as assistant principal at Idlehurst in 2021. She has an undergraduate degree from Bob Jones University, an MA in teaching with a concentration in curriculum and instruction at Gordon College, an MED in counseling at the University of New Hampshire, and she anticipates earning a CAG, Certificate of Advanced Graduate Studies, from Southern New Hampshire University this spring. She currently holds New Hampshire credentials and certifications as an English teacher, school counselor, principal, assistant principal, and superintendent. The second candidate is Kathy Randall. Kathy is currently the principal of Milton Elementary School here in New Hampshire. She has 40 years of experience in the field of education. Kathy taught elementary school grades K, 1, 2, and 6 for 27 years for the Amesbury School District in Massachusetts. She then served as assistant principal for the Amesbury Middle School and 1 year as an assistant principal for the Rochester Middle School before moving to her current position in 2022. She followed the principal of Rochester to Milton as he took the superintendent position. She also has 1 year of teaching experience at a Montessori school in Andover, Mass. Kathy earned her undergraduate degree at Salem State University, an MED at Cambridge College, and an MED in Evaluation and Supervision at the University of New Hampshire. She currently holds a New Hampshire credential certification as a principal. I had hoped we'd get 8 to 12 candidates and probably bring forth 3, but we came pretty close. And it's a difficult time. It is definitely a difficult time. But that's the update there. And then the last, I'm just going to stick with my bullet points, which were plenty tonight. An update on New Hampshire House Bill 2, our New Hampshire House Bill 2 lawsuit. This was the anti-DEI provisions of House Bill 2 that Oyster River and Dover joined with us in suing the state of New Hampshire, and we were granted a preliminary injunction stopping the legislation from going through or aspects of it. The state then chose not to appeal, but has finally filed ongoing argument. They could appeal the preliminary injunction decision, but they are now filing ongoing arguments against the decision, so that could take months or longer. But I just want to give everybody a heads up that the state legislature is not waiting for that to play out, and House Bill 1788, which is now under consideration, seeks to take the pieces of the anti-DEI legislation, which fundamentally struck most everyone as basically ruling that special education was an illegal DEI program. They're going to remove that and then make the rest of the bill tighter and more difficult. So I would encourage folks to pay attention to that one. The reality, and we've heard this from legislators, there are hundreds of bills related to education flooding the state and the legislature from time to time, so it's difficult to decide which ones to focus on. So that's an update on where this one is. It's House Bill 1788.
I'm just curious in your reading of 1788 if it continues to essentially like violate the Americans with Disabilities Act.
They're going to, they're fundamental, the core of it, and I can't claim to be an expert on it yet, is that they're going to address the fact that it seemed like maybe it was a bad idea to pass legislation that ruled special education as an illegal DEI program.
Sure.
So they're going to pull back on that aspect
Yeah.
of it, and that in general, all DEI, including the lacking intent or knowledge kind of aspects of it, that may or may not be deliberate, will remain as harsh as it already was. I have not studied the bill further than that, other than gotten the update. One of the advantages of entering this lawsuit, which costs us nothing, is that we have the benefit of legal advice from the ACLU without paying for it. We often will wait for bigger districts to get legal opinions or for the ACLU to chime in before we spend a few $100s here and there to get the legal assistance.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. House Bill 1788, and that's it for Superintendent's report.
Before we go on any further, can I motion to suspend rules? I've got a question to ask a board member, and due to information I have been given tonight. Is it okay?
Yeah.
I want to do it privately.
Oh, okay. can we just do a recess for 5
Yeah,
minutes?
to recess. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Looking to have a recess, or do you want to go into non-public, or just a recess? Just a recess, okay, like an executive, all right, recess for 5 minutes. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Is that good? Okay. All right. Sorry, everyone, if you could just give us 5 minutes. Let me see. Are in here from December 12th, but you just met on Monday?
Yes. Yes. So the policy committee, we went over.
Your mic on?
Yeah. Policy committee, we met yesterday and we went over, I think, 7 new bills for first reading. That aren't for this week. They're for next time.
Okay.
Yeah, that was basically that
okay.
update. And then budget committee met last week and we got the overview of the 4 different budget options laid out by the superintendent and Katie. Kind of mentioned earlier by Superintendent Shea, but what the budget could look like in an ideal world, what we need to run things as we're running them currently, what we would need to meet the tax cap, and where we are currently. So it was a very insightful visual, and we talked about what each of those budgets might look like in terms of cuts to bodies from buildings and cuts to programming.
And I think that's all in our agenda materials. Did we have cuts in there? I don't remember. Okay.
No, maybe I missed. Sorry.
I don't think we had cuts yet, just to.
Well, we
okay.
just like talked about
Yeah.
at a high level.
Yes, yeah, just to, okay. All right, anything else? I don't think there's anything else from committees. Board members, I sent you preliminary committee assignments, just as they stand right now. I think everything's okay as they stand, and just let me know. Things can be changed. It's just good for the public to know who chairs what, so they, for policy, budget, programs, our strategic plan, personnel, and building and grounds. It's just good to know the face and the board member to who to contact. So that's public as well, and maybe we can put it up on the website somewhere so it's easy to be found. No presentations this evening, and then policy adoptions. Since Board Member Brown isn't here, and we have a lot for second reading and first reading, if I can have a motion from the board to read these by title only, I'll read the second reading titles of the policies per, and we'll vote on it per so we can get the cadence of voting in for it.
I motion to read by title only.
Yes, thanks.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye. All right. So AD philosophy of the school district. This is our Hilltopper promise, and it's been updated to this. What's the wish of the board to adopt this policy as presented?
A motion to adopt policy 71AD philosophy of the school district.
Okay, second.
Second.
All right, all in favor? Great, and passes, adopted. EBBB accident reports. Wish of the board to adopt this policy.
I motion to adopt policy EBBB accident reports.
Right, do I have a
Second.
Great. And if there's any discussion, just let me know. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Great. All right, EBBCA, use and location of automatic external defibrillators.
I motion to.
I was wondering where they were in the school. Can we do a public of where our defibrillators are in our district? Are we aware of? Yeah, we have. Yes, yeah, might as well. I mean, it's good to have the public know where our defibrillators are, so.
Two precise locations. But we
Okay.
have one at the central office. We have 2 in the high school.
Okay.
2 in the middle school. And Maplewood and Idlehurst are both 2, or is Idlehurst 3?
One in each. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have one at every school. Sorry, I just when I Board Member Brown does it much cleaner, but when I see this and we're speaking publicly, to know that we have these on hand, it's just, I
We
appreciate that.
added some last year after our Buildings and Grounds Committee went and did a tour of each of the buildings. We had some that weren't in locations, like one on the second floor, so we did add some last year.
Oh, wonderful, okay.
And facilities crew regularly monitors battery, times out, and checks them and everything
Oh, good.
else, but they're pretty easy to spot.
Perfect, I appreciate that. Yep, so whoever would like to make the motion to approve, to adopt this.
I motion to approve policy EBBCA, use and location of automatic external defibrillators.
Great, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Policy of the evening, IKB, homework. There is still homework,
You
but
skipped
there
over
is a
IK.
change.
You
Oh,
skipped
did I
over
miss?
IK.
Oh my, excuse me. IK, earning of high school credit achievement of competencies.
I motion to adopt policy IK, earning of high school credit achievement of competencies.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Wonderful. All right, now we can talk about homework. IKB, homework. It's a shift from the previous one. I would encourage this to be shared widely. What's the wish of the board to adopt IKB homework?
I want to do this one. Motion to adopt policy IKB.
Second. Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, say, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, wonderful. All right, two more. JF, enrollment and enrollment capacities.
You done? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I motion to adopt policy JF, enrollment and enrollment capacities.
Great, second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Wonderful. Last one. JG, assignment of students to classes and grade levels.
I motion to adopt policy JG, assignment of students to classes and grade levels.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, wonderful. Now, first readings, looking for the motion to read these by title only.
I motion to read first readings by title only.
Great. And a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so these are just for a first read. If I can just go through them very quickly. JEB, entrance age requirements. IHCB, LEB, and so that's in 2 locations. Advanced coursework, advanced placement courses. EBB, employee student relations. JICK, the bullying prevention, pupil safety and violence prevention. And then lastly, JCA, change of school assignment, best interest and manifest hardship. So these are for first read. They'll be at second read at our January 27th meeting. Unfinished business, 8.1, our Hilltopper strategic priorities and plans, 2024-30. An update from Superintendent Shea.
You have all the materials in your board packet again. I want to encourage everybody that we're going to have a community forum on Wednesday, January 21st at 6 p.m. at Mulligan's. Board members are encouraged to be there, to listen, to participate, to speak up. And we'll give an opportunity with some feedback forums. I don't know if we'll have 5 or 10 folks show up or 100, but it's important to offer this and check in with everybody. I'm still in the process of scheduling the smaller, and for folks that might be watching at home or in the audience this evening, I've got now about 45 email addresses, recommendations from school leaders and folks that have regularly showed up for superintendent forums. These are going to be sort of working sessions, probably an hour and a half. I'm going to ask people to RSVP that they're coming to read the strategic plan and know that when they show up, I am not going to present for an hour. We are just going to dive right in and start talking about this. So for people that are ready to kind of commit that time, those are coming, and I will let all the school board members know. I already spoke to one about, hey, is it okay if I sit in on this? Because it is intended to be an opportunity for public input, but school board members will be welcome to sit in on these as well. And then our hope is still that we get to February break with the strategic priorities and plans approved, which will be our February 16th school board meeting. But we will take the time that the school board feels is necessary. On January 26th, which is no school for students, but a teacher workshop day for us, we're going to begin the day with the whole faculty and staff together reviewing where we are on this process and giving them one more opportunity to chime in. I did do an additional survey on all of this, and I think folks, my sense, are feeling pretty good, and this was a big one, and kind of like, hey, just wrap it up. Let's get it done, school board and district leadership, and let's move forward.
John, can you just say
Yep.
that date again? Was it January 26th?
January 26th is the teacher workshop day.
Okay.
And January 21st, it's also on the calendar, on the agenda, Wednesday, January 21st, 6 p.m., Mulligan's. Everybody is welcome. Community forum, school board members included, of course. Make sure the city council knows about that date as well. I believe the city council might also be scheduling a meeting, maybe their next city council meeting, for a presentation in the city council about this draft strategic plan and priorities. Very much the spirit of the collective bargaining agreement discussions last night were that money is difficult, but we need to work together as a community, city council, school board, broader community. We are in a very difficult circumstance here, and let's try to turn this into an opportunity for really kind of rethinking how we do things and come out of this in a powerfully good way would be our hope. The one thing I want to focus on here, forget the relevant legislative updates, it's too much. I want to introduce and make sure everybody is aware of what's happening with open enrollment. And I'm going to suggest that at our next meeting, we consider two things. It would be up to the school board, but possibly as part of our strategic plans and priorities, we make a value statement that we will do no harm to other school districts. And I'll explain what that means and what might be happening. And I would also suggest that we encourage taking steps to protect ourselves from open enrollment. Just a quick show of hands, just so I know where folks are, like know a lot about open enrollment, a little bit, not much. Could you guys give me a, okay. I'm going to give you a short, simple summary of it, just the basic facts. This changes every day. The federal government's their own terms for what they've been doing is flood the zone, shock and awe, keeping people, out of balance, and that is what's happening in the state legislature. It has gotten the legislatures recognize it. The flood of bills and legislation and things, and then the audio-visual photography thing. Like, okay, one more thing. It's proving difficult. Open enrollment changes day to day, but the short summary of this is that in 2009, the open enrollment legislation was passed. I believe it was initially part of charter legislation. I'm not certain of that, but it basically allowed schools to declare themselves open enrollment schools, which means, hey, as an open enrollment school, you can come to our school and we can charge, any kid anywhere in the state can come to our public school, and their district is on the hook for paying that tuition. Transportation, other things, those are details that our state is sometimes not very helpful with. There was a large response of nothing to this, except for one district, Alton and the Mount Prospect School, that said, hey, this sounds great. We have declining enrollment. Let's do this. And nobody else in the state participated. Nobody else in the state thought it made sense. And if you didn't declare yourself an open enrollment school, you weren't part of this. Without getting into the details of what happened between Pittsfield and Alton, it basically rose to the state Supreme Court. And the state Supreme Court, late in the fall, 2 months ago, ruled basically in a way that I have yet to have somebody reading the law would agree with, that you don't have to opt in. By the way the law was written, that any student from any school, so a Somersworth student could say, you know what, I want to go to school in Dover. As long as Dover has room for them and says they're there, we're on the hook not just for $4,000 or $5,000, but for the full cost of tuition. So if you think about it in terms of parent rights and, well, my share of property taxes, this is double, triple, quadruple what you pay your share of property taxes went to schools now being given to you to go to another school. It's mayhem. And I have a hard time understanding how anybody could defend this as a rational approach in the state, especially without guidance, which has been lacking at most times. But I will accept that there are different views on this one. There is currently a loophole that is a complicated one to fill, and I worry that by the time some schools fill it, that the legislation will change again. But essentially, we can currently opt to be an open enrollment school district. We can opt to be an open enrollment school district and cap the number of students that are allowed to leave at 0. Makes no sense, right? Because we have 0 to 100 as our range. This is clearly a loophole in the policy that makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah. We could also cap the number of students that we'll accept, or just target what's open and available, which would be our way of saying, we're protecting ourselves from students choosing to leave, and parents may say, wait a minute, time out, that doesn't seem to make sense. We happily explain why this is just not healthy and arguably unfair. But we could also, yeah.
Just one question
Yep.
coming.
Not
Member
s-
Kenevi.
Not so much a question as a comment. If any of the other board members would like some more information of that loophole, the Concord Monitor had a
Oh, yeah.
news story 3 days ago about the Kearsarge School District basically making use of the loophole to protect themselves, like John was saying.
Can we add that? We did this at the previous board meeting. Can we add that article or the information from the article to our minutes or agenda materials like we did for the other article that we did
Yep,
without
I can make-
objection? Okay.
I can make that
Yep.
available.
Okay, thank you.
There is, has Concord already, Concord's in the works, so that's what, no, but they're protecting themselves from a potential Concord decision.
I'll just share that I was at a legislative update on Monday, and the school districts that are weighing this, the majority of them that are weighing becoming open enrollment are setting their number at 0. So not many are not doing that. So it leads to an interesting conversation if everyone sets their number at 0. But most of them are looking to go that route.
The catch here, too, is that it has to go to the city council and to the community in some form or another. It's not a matter of a school board vote and a policy decision. It might require a referendum. The town process is pretty clear, and most of New Hampshire operates in the town model. There's only several of us that operate in the city model. So we get legal guidance on that. My concern is it would take a few months and time and energy, and by the time it's done, the loophole is sealed. But the spirit of it would be the twofold approach, in my opinion. Once school districts start attacking one another, which is what Mount Prospect has been doing for quite some time, it's simply public educators. And the metaphor I would use is this. If I'm your doctor, you're probably thinking, okay, well, your responsibility is my health. The same way a superintendent's responsibility is to the school district, the school board's responsibility is to the school district. But a doctor who's responsible for a patient's health does not go to other human beings and take their lives or hurt them in order to save theirs. There's a broader ethic here at a time when the state's a little bit of a mess that I think it would be a bold statement for this district to say we will do no harm to other districts. We will work with other districts, as we already do, for manifest educational hardship, best interest transfer, and all other kind of circumstances where it's rational, but we intend to do no harm. We will not take another district out the way, quite frankly, Alton has done at least to one district, and with the online programming that they're offering now, might do to others. It's not healthy for the state. And at the same time, if it makes sense to the school board, either bring it to the next school board meeting or to the next appropriate committee with the articles, the background, and the logistical steps, which I imagine at a minimum the school board would want to look at. We can discuss what it would take to declare ourselves open enrollment and then cap at 0. And again, it would take some clear explanation to parents who are like, wait a minute, there's a law that allows me to send my kid anywhere in the state, and my district is saying I can't take advantage of it. We really need to explain to them. I have not had a conversation with anybody one-on-one that doesn't understand that this does not make sense.
Would that fall under the policy?
Yeah, we
The
just
policies
approved
or
our
education?
enrollment capacities, but that's not
Would
the
it fall under
same.
policies?
I think with this, does it sound appropriate to be able to draft something for our next school board meeting, whether that's a value statement of no harm to other districts or being able to put it in front of city council as a city? I'm not sure if there's any examples of other cities doing this because it's not we don't do referendums, so or a warrant article right now with this.
We could do that. If the school board would like, we could bring forth both proposals with the legal background to the next school board meeting. And as you said, Chair Larson, the piece about, it wouldn't be a policy, but it would be a statement of direction from the school board to the city council asking that we pursue this, and we will communicate with the city council as we go.
It could be a policy as well.
I just didn't know where it would funnel, where it would land in our little.
Yeah, I think we'll ask them
Yes.
to explore it and
Okay.
to have it for next our next meeting. Does that make sense to
does to me.
everyone? Any other comments on this for the direction of the superintendent to kind of bring it back? It's not the easiest to understand. We have mechanisms for other movement and things like this. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this is. You know, it's a difficult thing. We wouldn't be able to weather the financial cost of having to do this. So
It's a little bit like other school districts are doing it, right? But it seemed a little bit shorthanded. Like, hey, we're going to open enrollment, but we're going to make it 0. And it's kind of,
zero.
it makes sense,
outgoing,
right? But it's kind of like,
Everybody's in this
yeah, I understand.
us right now, looking at it. We only have the long-term, the one that was out in front on this is Mount Prospect in Alton. And Kearsarge, I believe, is the first district that took the tactic quickly to say, we're going to move to open enrollment and cap at 0. I don't know if they did an intake cap or not, but that is what we would.
Intake cap as well. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
so that we're sending a clear message that we need to protect our district at a difficult time. We need to explain this to parents so they understand why we're doing it, but then also say, no, we don't want to poke students from other districts. We want to do it the proper way.
All right. Okay. We're good on. Okay. Okay. New business. 9.1, the draft proposed 26-27 school year calendar. This is our first view of it. I like to get this in front of the community sooner than later to suspend rules to be able to review it. But if that's not the wish of the board, that's okay. We can have it as a second kind of under unfinished business at our next meeting. Just as we say every year, I believe this is in line with Rochester and Dover from our CTC, and it looked good to me. Any questions or comments on the calendar? Can we suspend rules just to be able to have this presented and have this be official for families and people to be able to start to plan?
Yeah,
Or
I
would you like
motion
a
to
second?
suspend rules. Yeah.
All right, do we have a second? Second. Great. All in favor? Aye. Now I would just look for a motion to approve the 26-27 school year calendar as presented.
Could I just ask like a quick clarifying? So it looks like instead of doing the regular the first week of school is 3 days. It looks like because of how it falls, we're giving instead like a 4-day long weekend into that Tuesday after Labor Day.
We start with 5 days. It's
Yep.
because Labor Day is late, and
Yes.
because September 18th is a state election, so that's what created that 4-day weekend. So we're going to dive right in with a full week of school for students. We looked at possibilities here. 9th graders, 10th and 11th and 12th graders don't start on the first day.
Okay.
Pre-K is rolled out, but everybody else would start with a full week.
Okay.
Is that set on the calendar? I'm just pulling it up right now. Is it clear for, because I as a parent was a little unclear when my kids were going back to school. I just want to make sure that it's noted on the calendar that the 10th, 11th, and it says it there?
It says August 31st, first day of school.
But it doesn't say like
For
for,
the-
freshmen, correct? It doesn't say like.
Right. What's the
Yeah.
the first year?
I don't think in the past it's ever said freshman report. It should. I'm not disagreeing.
Yeah.
We can add it.
Yeah, just to add what the first day of school. So August 31st is it Monday? Is that the
Pre-K does not
it's
start.
everyone.
So that'd be freshman report the 31st, and then all of the grades would report the 1st, September 1st.
All other high school grades.
All other
report.
high school grades.
Yeah, so basically, we start kindergarten through 9th grade, and then 10th, 11th, 12th come the next day, and then pre-K roll out on their own schedule.
Can I add that that's clarified on the calendar for who's going in? Board Member D. St. Croix?
I think we should clarify it though across the boards from pre-K all the way to.
Excuse me.
We
Hi,
can.
sorry. I actually think that's going to make it a lot more visually confusing. Like generally what happens if you have kids in those like off grades, you get like a separate notice. So like I hear what you're saying, but I worry that like putting 50 different start dates on it, I mean 3, right? 3 or 4 is going to make it more visually confusing.
So first day of school, August 31st, pre-K to 9, and then September 1st, and the September 1st, first day of school, 10 to 12?
August 31st is not pre-K stuff.
No.
Oh, sorry, I don't know.
Pre-K starts on different days because it's been.
Okay, or K to 9, August first day of school, K to 9, August 31st? Is that correct?
Do we know when pre-K is starting? Is that?
That's okay, that can be done, I mean,
Pre-K,
that's
there's
a-
kids that are
okay.
just- There's kids that are just receiving services, there are kids that start on
that's
Tuesday.
So
more
we wouldn't know.
complicated, I
Okay.
think.
Yeah, it's-
But just to say K to 9, Board Member Jameson, and then September 1, 10 to 12. I sent my kids into school the first day,
Sure. Yeah.
so Just, and if it's a new person coming into Somersworth, just to know, get them on the bus, it would just, just K to 9 and then 10, 11, 10 to 12.
I will just add for the public in general that this calendar is remarkably the same as this year's.
Yeah.
It's just that Labor Day's a week later. If you put Labor Day forward, so then the elections are different, and that was about it. So it's very similar otherwise.
Okay. All right. Review and the prospective changes to school board committee assignments. Wanted to have this out there.
Were you not voting on it tonight? You suspended rules to vote on it. Did you not want to
Oh,
vote
sorry.
on it?
Yes, we did. We missed our vote. Thank you, Katie. We suspended rules, and now we need a motion to approve it.
Motion to approve the calendar as long as we denote in some appropriate way the first day of school for people.
For kids, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. Second. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Appreciate that. Can't they? Actually, they were in school because he had to go for NHS. So, anyways, review the prospective changes to school board committee assignments. We don't vote on this. It's just kind of a review. It's new business. Let me know the additions. It's kind of the chairs kind of get to kind of go with it. More tables, more chairs at these committees. Public are welcome to come to our committee meetings. 9.3, the nominations of our professional staff. I am looking at 3 nominations of long-term subs, which is amazing that we have that, but I don't think we need to vote on substitutes. I looked at our policies and I don't, unless we're changing their rate of pay to be higher, which we have done, which is appropriate in many cases with certified professionals, I'm not sure if long-term subs have to be approved. Can anyone?
In the gray area, we've always brought them forward.
Yeah.
So we just kind of talked about
I
it in the
appreciate
past.
it, but yeah.
With the last one, though, we would need to just have an approval of the board. So if I can explain a little bit about certificate of eligibility.
Sure.
And that needs board approval. So it used to be like a critical shortage emergency hire. It used to be done by the New Hampshire Department of Education. They turned that back to the school boards. And so now call it certificate of eligibility. So when we have someone who is not certified, we reach out to the New Hampshire Department of Education to see if they would qualify for a certificate of eligibility. And they let us know yes or no. So we did that with Eileen Gomez. You have to have a 4-year degree, pass a background check, and you have to have experience in the job that you're going to be going into. And if all that is there, then you can recommend we hire someone. It's used a lot for long-term subs who are going to be subbing more than 20 consecutive days, or someone who may be going into their statement of eligibility, but not quite yet. So we are recommending a certificate of eligibility for Eileen Gomez, who's currently a para. She does have a 4-year degree in the field and a lot of experience working over at Maplewood School, but the board needs to approve that.
Is that a new change?
It changed probably a couple years ago to that, so
Okay.
we don't use certificate of eligibility a lot. It's really in situations like a long-term sub situation where we don't have someone who's certified.
Yeah, I just had to look at this professionally. It's like a 1-year kind of like emergency kind of thing.
Yes, it used to be an emergency approval, and the DOE used to do it. You can only have it one time, so it's noted and documented. The person can only have this one time. So, but now it's not up to the DOE to approve. They just say if you're eligible or not. It's up to local school boards and superintendents to approve and agree to hire someone with a certificate of eligibility.
Is that just for a note for policy, if that's anywhere in policy to be able to do this, because we haven't had to do this, and I don't think we approve long-term subs unless we bump
I think
the
it's
rate
the
of pay.
law, though.
Yeah, the New
Like, in
Hampshire
order
Department of
to have
Education.
her-
Right. For us to certify it, just wonder what the process is, because it's the other just to say to approve it.
It's really specific on the DOE, so I'm sure you could just.
Yeah, I can share the link with you if you'd like around what's stated on the New Hampshire Department of Education and what the process is for that now.
Just wonder why the board is we're at a.
They kicked it back.
We're not the hiring body to be able to hire this person, but that's, I
think
have
it's
no
the-
problem with it, but it's just.
Okay, I think, any questions should probably go to the delightful people at the credentialing bureau, because they make a lot of interesting decisions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
Are
the
the-
spirit
So
of
we
it
need a
was
motion to hire this person?
Oh, yeah, I think the certificate of eligibility, can we just make sure that they're covered and make a motion to accept or approve the certificate of eligibility? Is that what we're charged with doing?
Yeah, so we wouldn't even be able to bring it forward if the new Department of Education didn't say, yes, they are eligible to have a certificate of eligibility.
But now we have to be aware.
Correct.
Yeah, and we keep track of that, and also the Department of Education has to be aware as
So we're
well.
aware. Do we have to agree? I don't know. It's such an odd, like, what do we?
I make a motion
We're
that we
aware.
vote to agree to the certificate of eligibility.
I guess, I don't know.
The spirit of this was intended not so much to be hiring, but if we were going to bring somebody in this capacity with a certificate of eligibility, the board has to bless it. The board, we can't sneak it past the board.
I
we
motion
can't sneak
to
it past
bless.
the superintendent. Yes,
To approve
Yeah.
of this certificate.
knowingly be
Yeah.
aware of it.
All of these are for our awareness. Long-term subs, have anyone started yet, or as a long-term sub in their capacity?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes, O'Brien Hart.
Does the, okay, wait. So is this person, you know what, I'll ask you later. It's not really important right now.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure folks understood the context, and I wanted to applaud the effort. Devin McNelly and Louise White are two Maplewood administrators. The good work that Kat Crosby's done on the certification, and Katie and Nick in HR have had to move in a rather timely and miraculous way to make this all happen, because the wonderful staff at Maplewood, with the good humor and spirits they have, decided to have 3 simultaneous maternity leaves. 2 of them even shared them with me directly at the same time, and they thought that was cute and funny. That's in a small school, in the environment we're in right now, to have 3 maternity leaves at the same time, 1 baby already born and healthy, congratulations, and all wonderful news. But that's pretty high hurdle. And we did everything humanly possible in as timely a manner as possible to have no gaps. And I applaud the administration there, and our district personnel worked really to make this happen.
And they're already working.
2 of the 3, all 3.
Not sure what we should do. Thank you for coming here. We appreciate it.
We're generally behind a little bit just with the board meetings, yes.
Okay, appreciate that you're here. We don't, are we paying them more money? No? Okay. I think that's the only thing that we approve as paying them more money in the policy under substitutes, is saying the board can approve more pay for them, but if we're just paying them the regular rate, then we're good.
Can we discuss that in public?
Long-terms.
I don't think we can discuss that in public.
No, yeah, it is. It's
Sorry.
just, it's under substitutes. If we want to raise the rate of pay, the board kind of makes a motion to raise the rate of pay for them.
All 3 of these are good, yeah. I think the consent calendar approval and accepting it would be good, but or just outside the consent calendar, just simple,
All right.
affirmative.
I think we need more notice. I would have another one. The COE is it 2 nominations was in here, or just nominations in general?
I'm sorry,
The nominations in the consent calendar. Well, how many were there?
I said
2 nominations.
I had 2 in
Oh,
the
but we had
COE.
more.
Well, I had 2 in the COE, so it's the 2
Oh,
in the
sorry.
COE is a nomination and a COE is how
Okay.
I labeled them.
Okay, two. I'm not sure.
I motion to accept.
We're good. They're already working, and so we're good. We appreciate.
I motion to acknowledge
Acknowledge
the-
it in the certificate.
I
Yeah, go
think-
ahead.
I think what we're just trying to do here is acknowledge that we have a long-term substitute who's doing an alternative pathway, who's not a certified teacher, and it's just, are we okay with that? Yes or no?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as a board, it looks like, are we okay with that? Anyone opposed? I mean, I haven't seen any documentation on it, but that's okay. Thank you. Welcome to Somersworth for
yeah.
filling in.
I think the fact that they were like vetted through all,
Are they,
cats, and
were they vetted? Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. They were.
Yeah,
they were.
I've actually looked into this process. There is like a pretty extensive application process with the DOE to get approved for this.
We're a
type
little
of-
bit on the spot, like, sure. I don't know.
Well, just to be clear, I just want to be really clear. When we bring these nominations to you, all of that has happened. 100% of it happened. It's good to ask questions about it, but please know that we only bring the nominations forth having taken care of all that. Just
I don't feel on the spot, having read about the process and knowing what they have to go through. and the fact that they follow the rules. But that's,
I mean, the credentialing bureau is a pain in the tuchus to deal with, right? Like, and I mean, thank you, credentialing bureau, but like, it takes a lot of hard work for people to get even statements of anything,
Yeah.
let alone a COE.
So, I would like to, yeah, I think we've acknowledged it, and yeah, moving on. Yeah. Okay. I think we're good. Board Member Prescott, you think we're good on that, or would you like to make a formal motion?
I make a motion to accept the certificate of eligibility for Eileen Gomez.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, perfect. All right. I would like, since we're under new business and all we have is upcoming meetings in non-public, I'd like to add a 9.4 for the addition of a second SRO position in the district. Do I have a second to be able to add that as 9.4?
I second.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
2 seconds.
All right. And I probably won't have any final comments, but just since we're here now, I just wanted to kind of have this first so what's that? Oh, yes, we do need a vote. Thank you, Kirsten. Katie. Yeah, sorry, we have first and second to add 9.4 for the addition of a second SRO. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right, and if you'll allow me, sorry, I was trying to get my thoughts in order to be able to approve this. This is only 3 minutes. I like to give people kind of an update of how long I'm going to speak for. And then if I know it's long for me. Thank you. I wanted to say thank you to my fellow board members for voting me and putting me the citizens for electing me and putting me in this elected board chair for my 5th term. As someone who's been listening carefully to what our parents, students, and neighbors are telling us about their concerns about their safety and well-being, I'm bringing forward a proposal to add a second school resource officer position for the remainder of this school year. We have talked about the potential and a need for a second SRO for years now, and it's time to act. I've heard from parents who worry every time they send their kids to school. I've heard from students who need more trusted adults they can turn to. I've heard from community members who see our young people struggling with mental health challenges, isolation, instability, and uncertainty. These are the real concerns of the people we serve, and as a board, our responsibility is to listen and respond when our community tells us what they need to feel safe. This is fundamentally about capacity. One person can't be everywhere. One SRO cannot simultaneously respond to emergencies and build preventative relationships. And research shows that building relationships stop crises before they happen. Think about what we're asking our SRO to currently do: to be present across multiple buildings, respond to immediate safety concerns, attend meetings, educate on prevention, mentor at-risk students, follow up on threats, make house calls, create timely reports, attend after-school events, and build meaningful relationships with about 1,300 students and their families. It's not humanly possible to do this all effectively with one person. We are gathering data on time allocation and capacity constraints. But the reality is clear: we need an additional capacity to meet the needs that we're seeing. Briefly, an SRO provides what we critically need: physical safety and emergency response capability, threat assessment and violence prevention expertise, the bridge between school families and law enforcement, and availability beyond school hours at games, events, and in our community. The research on preventing school violence is clear. Students need multiple types of trusted adults. Different students connect with different people, and our students need comprehensive support. This would potentially bring back someone who requires no training, someone who has proven their commitment to our students, and that's Officer Scott South. Even after leaving his position, he's continued to show up to our community, and students seek him out. That tells you everything that you need to know about his character and his impact. Prevention means relationships. It means our trusted adults who know our students, who notice when something's off, and who intervene early. Prevention means creating an environment where students feel safe enough to report concerns, where warning signs are caught before they escalate. The cost of not making this investment, I understand it is an investment, and I'm aware of that. We have looked into for the remaining of the year. We can ask further what it is, but between $40,000. but this far exceeds the budgetary allocation required. When needs go unmet, our entire community pays through increased crises, emergency response, and diminished safety. I'm asking this board tonight to authorize the superintendent to move forward with adding a second SRO position for the remainder of the school year and to work with the Somersworth Police Department to bring Officer South back into his role as soon as feasible. Our community is asking us to act. Our students need us to act. I'm asking our board members to support this critical investment in the safety and well-being of every person in our schools and greater community. Thank you.
What happens now?
If someone would like to do that, it's my ask. It's
I will motion to add Scott South.
I second.
Can we have some discussion about it?
after the motion's made, we have discussion. Absolutely.
So I
Motion first and
second.
second. All right. Yes, discussion. Absolutely. The motion. Add a second
So,
SRO.
right.
I motion to add a second SRO to the staff of the school district. Yes, is
So
that
I think the
appropriate?
motion is right to encourage.
Thank you. I move that the school board authorize the superintendent to establish a second school resource officer position for the remainder of the 25-26 school year, effective as soon as feasible, and to work with the Somersworth Police Department to assign Officer Scott South to the position.
Second.
Okay.
Formally.
Discussion.
Okay, so I mean, first of all, I don't object on the basis. I don't think that we can. I think we can only stipulate positions. I mean, I hear what we're saying, but I think like this has to be for a position and not.
We don't
person?
have jurisdiction to hire a police
Yeah.
officer as a school district.
Also a valid point.
We also have to probably cut 10 teacher positions next year, and I don't feel like we're in any position to add an additional police officer to our campus.
So okay, so my only point is that I do think it's important to understand how Somersworth uses SROs, because it is very, very different from other school districts. It's honestly more of a social work position. Again, it is not like that in a lot of districts. I don't normally support adding additional police because I feel like it can essentially criminalize the school environment. However, there's a very different relationship between the police department and the schools in Somersworth. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'll let other people talk about
It
other
is
pieces.
our position largely. The current is 75% our funded position. We cannot directly hire as a school department a police officer because they're a police officer, but we can advocate on behalf of the position for our district. Yep. Do you have something to read? Marcia's.
Oh, I did. Yep, Marsha. Thank you. That's right. Marsha Brown. She's not here today. She is sick, and she did something in it. I forgot. So let me pull it up.
Oh, okay.
To my school email.
Okay, so board member Clark, followed by D. St. Croix.
So Marsha has said, I am not a fan of lots of police in schools, and if this position were about that, I'm not sure I'd say yes. But this is instead about Officer South, a respected member of the middle school and high school community who is very well regarded by the students. It is about someone who has been a member of our school fabric. I've seen his rapport with students firsthand. He is like that favorite teacher you could always know you could talk with. He has been to both recent funerals, teary-eyed. He cares about these students. It is because he means so. It's because he means so much to our students that I fully support. If we can swing it budget-wise, bring him back. I know the students would be thrilled to have him back. And I would second that. I think our students have been through a lot this year, and if we had, I'm not going to say that, but, just make sure we had the resources in place to reach out to all the students that maybe were not going to school all the time, and how that would be, may have changed some things.
Sorry, D. St. Croix and then Jameson, just so we have everyone.
I just wanted to say, our students here in Somersworth had faced an incredibly challenging year. We lost those 2 students in less than a year. Losses that have deeply impacted families, friends, teachers, principals, and in our entire community. These tragedies remind us of the importance of mental health support and early intervention. Mental health struggles are complex and cannot be solved with simple solutions. With nearly 1,300 students, we need to remember, almost 1,300 students in our district having one SRO. How are those odds? I just want everybody to know that when these 2 students had passed, the first officer, the first person that responded was Officer South.
Okay, yeah, Jameson, and then Deasing, and then O'Brien Hart.
Okay, let's play this out over time. So $40,000 this year. Okay. Do we have effective plans to make space for that next year? Because if it's a $1.5 million deficit, right, there needs to be a plan to somehow offset that. So like, do we have an idea of what we can move, remove, shift in order to cover that long term instead of just like through June?
That's what we would have to do with the rest of the budget. I mean, we have to maneuver, look and see where we can and where we can pivot and maneuver things.
But this would just be for now. This is just isolated
We're
for
looking
this
just
year.
for right the second.
That is
And
the
then-
motion for just this school year, the rest of the school year, however that turns out.
And
Yeah.
moving forward from there, we could.
Member Jameson's point, like, should this be amended to just not in, like, we can't dictate that it's Officer South that's coming on board. Like, we want
Nope.
him to
We can
come on
say it,
board,
we
but
can't
like,
dictate. No.
so should the motion be amended to just a second SRO for the remainder of the school year? And then the other thing is you said it was 75% funded already, or is?
The current SRO is 75% school budget and 25% city budget.
Okay, so then the second SRO would be the same, or?
We will have to discuss that at this very point. It would be a discussion, and again, all the budget allocation of for right now. For the future, great point. We have to speak about it, but for what is being proposed right now is this school year currently.
Okay, so can we amend the motion to remove Officer South's name and just make place for a second SRO?
Sure.
That way it has
Yeah,
more
without
longevity.
objection, we can remove it.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a clarifying question. If this is coming to the table tonight because we need an extra SRO or because Officer South wants his job back?
I have not.
I'm just unclear.
We need a second SRO. We've spoken about this in a while. His ability and presence here is an impact of that, but we can't dictate who it is. It is a second SRO. It is the potential of Officer South. There is potential there, and I think it's just worth of the exploration to see that and to say it publicly. And we'll amend the motion to have the second SRO for the remainder of the school year in response to what this community needs, in my mind, and what this community is asking for, and what greatly is a benefit for, and just with safety and the capacity currently is an issue. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Yep.
Is there, like, I hear that the community is asking for this. Is there a way to, and generally, I think, like, I can totally respect, sorry, I always get the honorifics, Prescott, your board member Prescott's, like, and it's good points, right? Budget is a really important thing. It seems like it's also a very urgent thing to serve the community. Is there some kind of way we can add him, or add a person, an SRO for this year, and do some kind of analysis on, did it meet the goals that we wanted? And reevaluate it. Like, was this even?
I think, and that should be a point of,
like,
in
a
our minutes,
stipulation
that
if this
should be
even occurs.
that, and the data should be accompanying that. I think that to explore this, and again, we can't dictate the details of it.
Because I do, yeah.
Yeah.
The SROs serve the entire community, like, even like, it's not even just the schools, like, they're.
It's the 5 other schools in our,
It's
5 other private
but, I mean,
schools, yeah.
they're even running things to students who are out of district placed in our schools from Somersworth, right? So like, it's a.
That's a
whole
good point. So it's
system.
the other 5 schools in Art City?
Can I just say something real quick? So currently, right now, our SRO, they need vacations too. So our SRO is on vacation. We don't even have one right now this week. We don't have an SRO in the school system right now.
Okay, but do we have an MOU with the Somersworth Police Department that requires them to provide someone?
What
when
did
they're
we
on
do when
vacation?
Officer South went on vacation?
Wait,
Okay.
Yeah,
do you want the MOU shared, just to have it? Okay, if we can share the MOU with the entire board, it'd be good. I don't have it on hand, but go ahead.
Just a factual process kind of pieces to this. I think it's important to know that SROs, even Scott South, can't cover everything. We do not have an SRO, because that'd be 7 in the morning till 8 or 9 or 10 o'clock at night, 6 days a week in terms of covering everything. They have department responsibilities, trainings, all kinds of other things. So typically there is always that call dispatch. And when you have one SRO, or even if you have 2, they can only be in 1 or 2 of the buildings. So there's always going to be times where you don't have an SRO present. Just as a matter of process, the charge of asking the superintendent to pursue this makes perfect sense if that's where the board lands. Chief Sunderland, who I speak with regularly, we have a very good relationship. He needs to be, first of all, an officer returning to that department is a matter between that officer and that department. That's first and foremost. We are not the police department, and we are not the officer in question. That's something that'll happen between the 2 of them. And Chief Sunderland knows for a fact how much all of us have valued Scott as a school resource officer. The decision from the police department to go to 2 SROs and fund 25% of each of those positions is based on Chief Sunderland's determination that they are properly staffed so that they can actually pull that off. They meet public safety needs across the city and feel comfortable that 2 SRO makes sense. I don't think it's out of the question that our police chief believes that 2 SROs is a good thing. I'm just not sure, I'd let him first speak for himself, that the staffing currently in the police department feels good that they could allocate 2 officers to us. On the flip side of that, or typically how SRO assignments are made is a police department and a superintendent work together, but it's really the police chief's call that here are the officers that we're thinking about. There's conversation, there's dialogue. We don't get to pick and choose and say that's who we want, but it is known throughout this community how good Scott South is as a SRO officer. So that dynamic would have to take place. And I will just say 2 things, just my opinion on this. I think I speak for the district leadership as well. Number 1, uniformly, could not agree more that Scott South was probably one of the best SROs that has ever worked in this country, and the possibility of getting back to our district is a no-brainer. Number 2, I'm not sure we're comfortable with a 2 SRO model in our budget at this time and place. So those 2 things are at odds with one another, but I just simply say them as facts. If the board asks us to pursue this, we will, and we'll work in good faith with the police department if those other steps happen. And then we'll have to look at what the repercussions are of finding the funding for this year and what the complications might be of, we just want to do this through June and then reevaluate, and then determine where we move forward, just as a matter of kind of what the process would look like.
Got it. Oh. I didn't see, I saw board member Jameson first, then O'Brien Hart.
Okay.
I know.
Okay, so budgetarily, and we're all going to accept that this is not my strong suit. Katie, is it unexpended funds? Is that the word that I use?
Well, just remember, any unexpended funds this year need to go to $448,000 balance to school care.
Okay, so
But yes, it would come
like
in a normal
hypothetically.
year from unexpended funds, correct.
So from what and I think questions along the same line. So from what I understand, Superintendent Shea, is that our asking you to investigate it does not necessarily mean that there is even room in the budget to do the hiring, but that we are just authorizing you to look into it and see if there's any way, shape, or form that this even could happen, as much as we want it, with the current budget situation of owing school care
Yes.
$5 gajillion. Okay. Which is not an accurate number.
Yes.
Okay, so it's basically, they're authorizing you to look at it.
And you know, if anybody's built a house, anything's possible, it's just that it costs. So we'd come back and we could simply say that, hey, everything lines up the way we'd hoped with the individual, the department, the police chief, everything lines up. Then we would be faced with, okay, if we did do this, this would be the impact.
And that will be brought back to us
Yes,
if
yes.
Cool.
That would not be a decision. That would, but given the board directive, there would have to be a clear board understanding. This would be the cost, and this would be the implications for where we are at the end of the year, where we are with school care assessment, where we are with city council in terms of just making all this work and potential other cuts. And if we're talking about, let's just do this through June 30th, then what are the implications for the personnel involved and for the police department as to what happens on July 1st with both individuals involved? So there'd be layers of stuff here that I fully support the spirit of bringing this individual back to our department. It's just a matter, back to the schools, it's just a matter of how.
There is a cost. I mean, we're not saying that there's no cost, and about 40, well, we don't know the exact, but within that scope, right? And it wouldn't be the full year, you know, February through June. Yep, do you have another? Yep, go ahead.
The other question I had, I know the community had requested, but then it sounds like the police chief has also recommended a second SRO, or is that misconstruing? It just supports adding a second SRO.
It's been a discussion for years to be, you know, with the need for, you know, what is our need? What is our current capacity and what is the need? And we're doing this publicly, and hopefully people tune in, and hopefully you speak to others about this discussion. So, but at this point, the motion, if I can just reiterate, is that the motions for the school board to authorize the superintendent to establish a second school resource officer position for the remainder of the 25-26 school year, effective as soon as feasible, and to work with the Somersworth Police Department for this. So it would be that authorization to begin to work, because nothing has happened until we authorize it, right? It isn't an authorization from the city side. It is mainly a school position, honoring, you know, being in our district.
Could I ask if the motion could be to pursue this rather than to establish it? I don't want the tone to be, we're gonna go do this, but we're gonna pursue it and come back to the school board with, as a matter of fact. In good faith, follow the, but established sounds
Okay.
like just go do this, superintendent, and I'd rather it come back to all of you.
Yep, pursue the second resource officer, and
Investigate the feasibility of a,
we'll get the feasibility after as a testament, because I think we don't want it to go too far down the line to put too many, you know, like a House bill, put it all in there. I move that the school board authorize the superintendent to pursue, without objection, a second school resource officer position for the remainder of the 25-26 school year, effective as soon as feasible, and to work with the Somersworth Police Department on this position.
could we just eliminate the 25-26 school year and just, because essentially if it is recommended and the community wants
We
it.
haven't even looked at the budget for next year. I
Yeah,
want to keep
so-
it tight to just
Okay.
this year, because if we're going to make any adjustments to next year's budget, we have to get it all in public and make sure that cart before the horse type of thing. I don't want to make it extension. All right, yeah. We could do that in the future, but for right now, it would just be this year, this school year. No, we already have a first and second. We had discussion. Mm-hmm.
Ready to vote?
Yep. Yep. Go ahead, Board Member Jameson.
Okay, I will vote to pursue this, but I need to see somewhere where it's sustainable and we're collecting data and like we have the actual ability to do this the next time it comes up. Okay.
Absolutely. First steps first. Okay. All in favor is everyone clear
I
on the
think
motion?
that we should.
Yeah, everyone vote. Yeah,
evaluate,
all in
like,
favor. Are you, sorry.
I want to go roll call. Yeah.
Okay. Without objection, roll call, please.
Carrie Clark,
First, I say yes.
Bridget Jameson,
Yes.
Kirsten Gowdy,
Yes.
Carly Prescott,
No.
Sarah O'Brien Hart,
Yes.
Crystal D. St. Croix,
Yes.
Maggie Larson,
Yes.
Patrick Kneby.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Upcoming meetings, Idlehurst Elementary School Principal, this Thursday at 5, Community Forum on the 21st at Mulligan's on the 21st of January, Policy Committee January 26th. We have our school board workshop. We request that that is televised. I've been asked to make sure that that's televised. School board presentation hearing on the budget is the 3rd of February. All right, and then a lot of things in the budget in February. Number 11, public comments. Any public comments this evening? Any public comments? Thank you. Oh, is the mic on, Ethan?
Ethan Clark, Ward 1. Is dialogue allowed, or, like, I know the city council meetings, there's no dialogue?
I'm usually pretty flexible with that,
All
with
right.
my board
Giddy up.
support.
All right. So I guess just a few questions, and just a taxpayer, just a resident. So are we voting to add a position when we are currently in default based on,
Not in default.
like, we have a balance owed that is not budgeted for, and we're trying to add another position?
We have a remaining $80,000 that we're over budget, and but we owe that we have chipped away at the $30 million shortfall from our insurance that we owe. So we owed, what was the general? Was it $675,000?
$672,000 was the bill, and we still owe $448,000.
Yep.
So
So we didn't have that anyways.
So we have 400,000 that we are still trying to figure out to pay, and we are trying to add a position mid-year when we still have openings as well? Okay. So there are openings that are currently available within the school district. Just to be clear, I have 4 kids. I would be in full support of an SRO at each campus, because I think the nice thing is, with everything that has happened over the last few years, entry points at schools are incredibly limited, and if the first thing an individual is walking into is a cop, that obviously changes that dialogue. I do think that also, like, we're talking about the community involvement, I think there does need to be a conversation there, which one's more important? Having an SRO standing at the front door, or subs, teachers, aides, things like that. There's only so much money there. So I just, as somebody who's just listening to, I think that's a conversation that
I would just clarify that our SROs really don't just stand at the front doors. They do.
No, I agree.
Okay,
Like, they have
okay.
involvement.
Yeah,
again,
okay,
I would be
okay.
in support if it's budgeted for appropriately throughout the calendar year. That makes all the sense in the world to me. If you guys came to the city council next year and said, hey, we want to allocate that. But I just from hearing the conversation, is that sustainable long-term within the budget all the way through? Like, I would just kind
We
of
have
like to know.
currently, I think, 7 paraprofessional positions still unfilled. Is that correct? Fewer?
We had 5. Amy said now we're most likely down to just the 3 at the high school.
Oh, so the last
Which were
update.
yeah. I told you when I did my
yeah,
report
we have
that when
3
I
at the
did
high
this
school.
update, there were 5, but meeting with Amy today, they filled the elementary and the middle school positions. We're down to the 3 at the high school.
So we have
which
3
they're
unfilled
fi-
positions.
yes.
Okay.
So then, I guess the follow-up to that then becomes, when it comes to the budget and some of the line items, like page 32 in here, it looks like the enrollment went down to 1277. So as the students continue to decline year over year, then comes the question, okay, well, but I would be in favor of an SRO at each campus, but then are we projecting budgets and guaranteeing raises before we even know what the enrollment in the classes are?
We're projecting salaries, but not staffing. We can adjust on staffing as is required. So collective bargaining agreements dictate the increases, but then we can only hire what we can afford to hire.
Okay.
Downside of that, to be clear.
And we haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
For next year.
For the next year. And we're also starting to move towards a 3-year outlook. It's just very hard on enrollment numbers. We worked quite a bit with the city, just get a better direction on where we're headed with housing, and are we going to build condos and more family housing? We feel we could be in a solid place. But with the EFAs and folks opting out for various reasons, yeah, we're right now, we're hurting a little bit. And that's
So the
a
salaries
factor.
are agreed upon before we know the enrollment numbers?
Salaries agreed upon before we know enrollment numbers makes sense to me because a good teacher working in good hours, it's the number of staff that will fluctuate as we
Gotcha.
downsize.
Yeah.
So-
Okay.
Yep.
Understood. Sweet. So I just as a community member, I would be all for an SRO. I would just very much like to portray that that needs to be budgeted for the position, not the individual. Because, and I know Officer South, great individual, but also, or is there an option to where that can be privatized? Does it have to be a police department employee, or could the school board go and elect for private companies to be able to take this over, and he could be contracted that way?
Good question. We'll take it under advisement. I don't think anyone's ready to answer that now. We've done pretty good, but
Good idea.
I
to
will just
consider.
say, Ethan, that just speaking of schools in general, the relationship with the police department is pretty critical. So the way we work so closely with EMT, with police and fire, there's numerous advantages to SROs being actually police department members and building and establishing that relationship rather than going the private route.
But if he's on duty and there's a call, he has to go take that call, right? If the police department
No.
needs
No.
his support?
No, there's schools first.
Okay.
There's occasional meetings and other trainings and other activities, but schools are priority. There could be an emergency of a certain caliber that requires, all hands on deck, but no, he's, school resource officers, our current resource officer, Officer Tully, Officer South, their first responsibility is to the schools.
and SAU 56 is the largest employer in Somersworth. That we are. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ethan. All right. Anyone else willing to speak? Yeah. Yeah. Welcome. State your name and your ward, and we have it here. Yeah.
Mommy. Okay. My name is Nina Souza, Ward 1. I don't know how much I could be for as a say to this, but I know budget has kind of always been a little bit tight in Somersworth, but I think looking at the bigger picture of everything, because having 2 people that we lost in 1 year is a big thing, and I feel we, for the last 2 times that we've had it, we've had to call in other people to come and support our school because we didn't have enough. And I think that having just somebody else there, and also if it is South, that's a familiar face that some people lost that they felt comfortable talking to. So I am just saying that from a student's perspective, I think it would be very, very beneficial for the students in our school to have someone to talk to and just be there. And he's a very warm, and nice person to talk to. So, yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Seeing none. Any board members have anything to say? You always can speak. Or counselor? No? Okay. All right. With that, before adjournment, we have to enter non-public session per 91A32C and B. What's the wish of the board to motion for entering non-public? Motion to enter non-public.
Motion to enter into non-public.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Great, and can I have a roll call? And good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for
Carrie
coming out.
Clark,
Yes.
Bridget Jameson, Kirsten Gowdy, Carly Prescott, Sarah Bryan Hart,
Steps.
Crystal D. St. Croix,
yeah.
Yep.
Maggie Larson,
Yes,
Patrick Kenevy.
Yep.
Oh, I thought I already did that.
I did it this year. Yeah, that's all right.